What's going on? Welcome to HDiiTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Yes, sir. We in the building. Now, I got done watching Loki the series. It was a very good series. This is what people need to follow as a template. Loki wasn't a very highly coveted character in the comic books. He would come here and there, but as time grew, he became to be known by everybody. Loki is more of a Thor villain. They're making a lot of these villains, trying to make them into heroes and that type of thing. And you can see what's going on. I've seen what's going on. Basically, after He Who Remains, or Kang, was killed, basically he put a failsafe in the system to destroy the tree, which it was a device that was destroyed that destroyed all of the branches. The branches were branching out, making new timelines at a faster rate instead of its normal slow rate, and being controlled. If you have too much branches being built going through, it's going to disrupt disrupt the machine, and that's what it did. But He Who Remains did this because he knew Loki would come back to him, which he did at the end, and he needed to. Jonathan Majors did a fantastic job. You know, I'm just tired of everybody saying that he's guilty and he hasn't been proven guilty. The difference between him and Ezra is Ezra was guilty. There was witnesses and videotapes of him doing these acts. There's no video evidence or tape showing that Jonathan Majors did what he did, but because we live in a society of you're guilty until you're proven guilty. It's not proven innocent. There's no such word. You know, you're proven innocent. Oh, you're not innocent. It was something there. It's like, okay. But we don't care about, like I said, we don't give a damn about the system, because if we did, then this person who's found innocent, you would think they did it. You would think they didn't do it. But in this society, oh, there's always a conspiracy, or there's always smoke, there's fire, and all this bull crap. But Jonathan Majors was excellent. Rim Slayer, she was excellent. Everybody was excellent in this series, excellent. But Jonathan Majors was phenomenal. Like, every scene he was in, he stole the scene. Especially the part where he was in the 1868 in Chicago, when he was making inventions and basically conning people into buying inventions that didn't really work. They just worked at that time, and he bounced, you know. And they were able to find him and Rim Slayer. They had their little thing, how they had in the comic book go, and then of course Kang basically made her forget all her memories, which I believe he did in one of the comic books. I can't think what it was. He kept trying to get with her, and it just never worked out. So he just decided to send her back and just wipe her memory and stuff. So that was a story in the comic book. Now, I don't know about this Loki thing with, at the end, he had the branches, and he was able to restore the tree back to where it was. So now the branches can flow better, where everything is stabilized. He basically sits there and watches over it. But he had to sacrifice himself in order to keep the timelines and everything going. Now with this could be Marvel's, this and the Doctor Strange multiverse and the No Way Home. Those could be plot points in the what if stories can be plot points, which are like Flashpoint. Those are basically Marvel's Flashes. You know, those are Marvel's Flashes, where you can tell another story. You could do this story over here. They could do a new Black Panther without having to explain about Chadwick Boseman's character. You know, this is what I'm hoping Star Wars does with the World in Between Worlds. And I think that would be a brilliant idea if you have a good or great story come out of it. But if you're not going to do a great story coming out of it, then you're a dumbass and you shouldn't have wasted our time. But Loki basically, it starts off like it did, where he's basically went into the past. He basically was a part of a time displacement. So he was being displaced through time and not really being able to be whole, but really he could have controlled it from the beginning. I basically figured it out. Episode 3, I figured out all of this shit. All of this stuff was so easy to figure out, and all it was is that Loki should have went out there. But see, Loki had to take his time to figure it out. He had to go back in time, had to go in the future. He had to jump around to understand it. But he finally understood what he could do and what he can't do. And when he got to speak with Kang at the end, which was, to me, the highlight of the show. Him and Kang's talking right there, and over and over where Sylvie was killing him. It was beautifully executed. All the actors in that scene killed it. Rim Slayer, she did her part for the little bit of time she had. Miss Minutes basically creeped out. She had basically she's artificial intelligence who found love in Kang, in his creations, his mind. She fell in love with his mind, fell in love with him, and she went crazy. But and you know, they were able to get rid of her by restarting the whole TVA, you know, which was dope. That was dope. I appreciated that. I'm not going to get all into the series, but I'm just telling key parts of it. Like I said, this to me, season 2 is made to basically say that we could go in any direction. So like, we could create a whole new story over here that doesn't tie in to what Tony Stark and all them were in this timeline. And they basically connected the Ant-Man story, Quantumania, to Loki, which they said that they dealt with one of his variants. One of his variants went crazy and they had to take care of it, which they did in Ant-Man, which I thought was horribly done. Ant-Man could have been a classic, but they didn't want to push the envelope. And this is the problem with a lot of these damn shows. They just do not want to push the damn envelope. It's okay. Like Loki did it. It pushed the envelope and more. You know, you don't have to show gore and blood everywhere, or you don't have to curse every 2 seconds to make a movie great. You make a movie great or make a show great by telling a story. But don't make it to the point where the story's not going nowhere. If you have a great premise going, keep that premise alive, but don't just veer off course when you don't understand how to close your story or end your story. And this happens a lot in a lot of movies and a lot of shows. I can't think of the black woman's name, but she did a great job. Beautiful job. She did a real excellent job. I love how she continuously kept order. She was always about a book, a leader, but she knew at the end of the day, okay, I got to help my team. I got to help everybody, you know. And she did it, which I really loved. I really respected. I loved what she did. Everything was eloquently done. Owen Wilson plays Owen Wilson in every movie. Every show he's in. But I love it though. It's great when Owen Wilson gets to play himself, Because if you think about it, you know, Owen Wilson, you know, plays himself to the T, which we needed that Owen Wilson in something like this, you know, and he did not disappoint. Him and Loki's back and forth was very key, very crucial to, you know, everything we were talking about, we were looking at. Everything was done beautifully. Did I have anything that I felt should have been taken out? No, this was a perfect, good series. Now, some people may disagree with me. I don't give a shit, guys. I liked it, Wonder Woman 1984. Everybody else didn't like it. It is what it is. People got different tastes and stuff. This was a classic to me. I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch the first season in a second. This has really been the best show. WandaVision I had at number 1, but Loki's number 1. Then I would go WandaVision. Then I would go Captain America and Winter Soldier. Then I would go Moon Knight. No, excuse me. I would go to What Ifs. I would go What If number 2. No, What If number 3, excuse me. What If would be number 4, excuse me. I would do What If number 4, season 1. I would go Moon Knight number 5 or 6. I like the Moon Knight. A lot of people didn't like Moon Knight. But there's other people who did like Moon Knight. I didn't see Miss Marvel's show, and I'm not going to see it. I watched She-Hulk. That shit was terrible. But overall, the show basically explains to us about time placement, where in time, you know, that, you know, you'll be at or how you'll be and stuff. And I enjoyed that. I love the different places they were jumping around to. It was awesome. 4 out of 4 stars. Great show. In this, I wasn't confused at all. I understood everything. If you're confused by watching this show, then you might need to go back to season 1. Basically, what Loki did was he stabilized the timelines, the tree. The tree basically is the bark, is basically the how do I say? It's basically the heart and soul of everything. The branches are just its fingers or its legs that have different timelines. Like this one branch, that could be where our universe is at. And then in this one, that's where this universe could be at. You know, DC does theirs different. They just have it on top of one another. It's all right there. All in the same room with each other instead of a branch. I like how DC does theirs. Marvel does it simple to me. They do it real simple where there's the tree branch and there's the branches. And if you see the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse, the tree branch is upside down. So all of it is connected. It's just different verses, but they're all connected. You got the bark, you got the tree of life, basically. So that's how I looked at it. At the end, Loki basically becomes, I don't know what he becomes, 100-story Loki, whatever they call it. But I wasn't into Loki growing up. I never really liked it, Loki, until I watched the show. I hope they make more stuff with him in it. I think he does a great job of bringing that character out. And I loved how everything connected. It was awesome. So thank you guys for listening, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you love what you hear, you can donate to the page by going to the description box, hitting that link to the Cashapp, or finding me on Zelle. You can take that number in my description box. You can find me that way. You can super chat when we live or premiere, or leave a super thanks. Now, the ending you should have gotten. He had to go through time. He figured out how to control time placement, or the lack of time being there. like time was like that branch was unraveling, but he could stop it because he had that power. He unlocked a new power that was able to stabilize everything, rebuild. He brought what he was grabbing was the different branches from everywhere, the main branches, and connecting them. So now the sacred line won't be disrupted. That sacred walkway, that sacred line will never be disrupted. All the other universes could flow. If there's ever a new one that comes, he's basically overseeing it, making it sure it doesn't go out of whack. So great story, 4 out of 4 stars, loved it. You guys have a good day. I'm out. Deezy.